It always seems to take forever. Hello and welcome to Number 9 Talk with me and James from the Food Bank. How are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Hi. I'm not from the food bank. I'm just raising money for the food bank.
Well, that all ties in. What I will say all ties in. We're all together in this, yeah?
If it helps if people think I'm from the food bank, let's go with it. If it means that we'll get more donations, let's do it.
Yeah, that always works, mate. Right. What I will jump into is Arsenal at the weekend. What was your thoughts on
it? I didn't think much, to be honest. I thought first half it was a typical Arsenal display. I think it was typical of both teams, to be honest. I think Arsenal just went on the game and Newcastle just didn't look there was much to them. Every time we got the ball, it was side ball. I think it was too often than not that we just weren't. It was strange. There was times that we went through 5 or 10 minute bursts where we would put them under massive pressure and we'd push that line right up into their like the back third of their pitch. We were pushing them back and we're winning a couple of corners and free goal kicks and maybe won a couple of free kicks. And I thought when we pressured them like that, that's when we looked on the front foot, but we never looked like scoring because we're just trying to win a free kick. We don't look like scoring. We're just trying to get enough pressure on so we can win a free kick or a throw-in and then try and turn that into something. And that didn't really turn into anything. I don't think it's and I don't think that's tactics. Personally, I don't think it's tactics. I think it's just get forward. And I think when we did have the ball and we were in our own half trying to go forward, the play slowed down. It was side ball. We really missed having Shaw, because when Shaw plays in a back five and he pushes forward, he plays a couple of long balls, and I think we missed that edge because it was just getting passed around the defence. Then would go down the wings a bit, and it just didn't have much. I just thought we deserved. To be fair, I don't think anyone thought we were going to win anyway. I ran a poll. And nobody thought we were going to win. And to lose 2-0 after extra time, we should have just lost 2-0 at full. I think, to be honest, all we've done is tire ourselves out a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I agree to an extent. I think Andy Carroll, he looks fitter than he has since he's left, honestly. I think Andy Carroll was all over that pitch during the whole match. And I will give the guy kudos as well. You know, he put the effort in as well. But looking at his two missed chances, in the dying minutes, he put up a fantastic chance to put the ball in the net, and unfortunately, it didn't come off. I mean, could you put that down to striker or keeper?
What do you think would have happened if that was Joe Linton? Or
he wouldn't even been there, Joe Linton.
True, I know he has improved. He doesn't get into those positions as much, and he hasn't been, even though he's been tasked at a kind of different role to what Andy Carroll plays. He doesn't have as much experience as what Andy Carroll plays. I just think, I put a post out and I got a lot of stick from it, and I think I worded it incorrectly at the time. I said that basically Carroll should have came off it's maybe a little bit sooner because, yes, although he'd run his legs off and he'd done all sorts, if he's going to be able to put in those kind of performances for a start at the age he is and with what he's like with injuries, yeah, right, he hasn't finished any of the chances during the game. Get him off. Keep him for the next game when he can put in just as much effort rather than risking him and risking injuring him. Like, it looks like he's not going to score. The chances are he probably isn't going to score. So take him off, get someone else on. And I thought loads of people will say, no, he's been our best player. Yeah, he had been our best player, but in a team where the people around him weren't very good at all. So it was easier to be the best player. Yeah. And I'm not slating Andy Carroll. It's great to see him doing well. He's a local lad. He does love the club, and he did try and he put in effort. But this is the thing about what's happening, and it's a dangerous. As Newcastle United fans, we start appreciating and we start kind of accepting the effort that players put in as being like that's well, they put in effort. Like Matt Ritchie puts in effort, Almiron puts in effort, and the goes through a thing where yes, they put in an effort though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But it. I mean, if you look at our results over, since Boxing Day, I mean, we've had Man City, we've had Liverpool, we've had Leicester. Now we come to Arsenal, and no one would have thought we would have come out with at least a point, but we have, and it's worked. But at the same time, what you got to look at, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth, really, can you? It's kept us in there or around there, hasn't it?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think especially the point against Liverpool was definitely a massive point for us. I think going into these run of games, the scary thing for me is I was looking through the remaining fixtures for the rest of the season, and I was thinking, where are we actually looking at how other teams are performing? Where are we going to pick up points? Because I think there's people out there that think, but we're on the best points that we've had in a long time at this point of the season. But I think people need to remember, look at where we are in the league and look at how other teams are performing. That would be brilliant if you didn't have teams like Aston Villa doing what they're doing. You didn't have teams that have just started getting better, Wolves, teams like that ahead of you. Brighton are starting to, Arsenal, who were below us, are now getting a climbing above us, and they're probably not going to fall back down now. So there's another place we've lost, and we're in 15th. We're in the bottom quarter of the table. And I just think we need to consider that. I think going back to the Arsenal game, I think with the lineup that Steve Bruce picked, I think basically it looked like he was writing the game off. He said I know he needed to start Lascelles and Dubravka, but starting just Joe Linton, no Wilson, I think was a big one. I don't know where Gale was. Is Gale just not? Gale's not injured, is he?
I don't think he is, but he's been a peripheral figure, hasn't he? Really, during the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think, as I say it, I said it before the game. Sometimes when we go into these games and we play, you could see a weaker side. It's tough to see a weaker side because technically we had our captain back, Lascelles, and we had Dubravka, who was our number one keeper for a long time. So it's almost not a weakened side. But compared to what we have been playing, especially in the run-up of results we've been playing, normally when we play our weaker team, where we play our weaker side, we tend to perform better for some reason. And I don't know if that's because there's people wanting to make sure they actually perform, but I don't know. I just think that I think looking at the remaining games, if we can continue to play like we did in the Premier League and keep that attacking line, will be better. I will say, I don't know, I saw the second, because to be perfectly honest, when I got a 0-0 at full time, I thought, I can't be bothered. And I could see which way the result was going to go. And I stopped watching. I kind of flicked it on for little bits. I was just watching little bits. But when I saw the second goal, I thought Arsenal didn't play with any tactics at all. And all of a sudden, when they scored their goal, they were playing actual tactics. They'd pulled, if you watch it, Hayden, I think it's Hayden gets pulled across. Yeah. And as he gets pulled across, they play the pass back. And then that's when he runs down the wing and Hayden just leaves his man completely. It's got to be down to Hayden that, because there's no pressure on him.
I think by that time, I think the whole team, both teams, I think, have got stretched completely.
Are you a Gavin Price fan? Is that why you're called Iceman?
Yeah. Well, Iceman is during a Formula One fan. Yeah, I do like Kimi Räikkönen, so that's part of it all. Yeah. There's a question. Kid. Oh, a Gerwin Price fan speaking about football. I love it. I don't know what that's about.
Gerwin Price, his nickname's Iceman.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. I've only just got that. I mean, yeah.
You're not a Dodge fan?
It's all about Kimi Räikkönen. I do like Kimi.
Right.
So, yeah.
Formula One.
Yeah. But going on from that, looking over the full fixtures from the Man City result, you could say there has been an improvement, or maybe is that from the manager down to tactics, or is that just down to the players thinking, "Sod you, we're going to do what we want to do"?
I think you've got to look at the teams we're playing and the formation we're playing. We've gone back to and I hate saying this, but if you're playing a big team and you're expected to lose, and it's kind of exactly Steve Bruce tactics to say, right, come on, we've got nothing to lose. Everybody expects us to lose. Let's just go out there and give it our all. And then he plays 5 at the back, pushing forward, which was Rafa tactics. He used to play the 5 change into a 3-4-3, and basically that's what we've been doing. And I think you can't do that against all teams. I think it was great against Liverpool because they didn't expect it at all. I think we turned into I think we almost mirror reflected what Liverpool tried to normally do, because Yedlin was getting forward in the same way that Trent Alexander-Arnold would for Liverpool. And I just didn't think if we had better quality, if Yedlin could finish, if Yedlin knew how to pass across, would probably be a lot better, I think. But I think if we take that into other games, then there's no reason why we can't win those games, because with those, it's hard to say you can't do the same tactics for every team, but it works for our team. When you've got pace, if you've got pace in those positions, like in wing back positions, I don't even mind Jamal Lewis, although he's made mistakes and he sometimes gets slated. If you watch him, he can be quick and he can get about with the ball, and he's a bit agile. He has a hint of what Willem Jetro had, a hint of it. Like that quick footedness.
Well, you look at Yedlin. I mean, my dad used to say that guy can catch pigeons. He's that quick. But he doesn't have an end product. But then at the same time, I don't think he's actually got a defensive bone in his body.
No, he's very clumsy.
Yeah, he is clumsy, and you look at and you think, you've got Manquillo there as well on the same side, and he's about the same, but he just doesn't have the pace of Yedlin as well.
Well, it depends on what. See, because I was a big fan of Manquillo because he started to really improve and he seemed solid. A lot of games where he was
improving defense.
And I remember, I think it was Man City last season, I think, where we played him and Manquillo started, and Manquillo was just absolutely solid. He just would not budge. Nobody could get past him. And you know what it is? He looked calm and he looked like he was ready to handle anything that came to him. Whereas you don't get that same thing with Yedlin, do you?
No.
And it's the exact reason why goals like what happened with the reason that we concede a lot of goals when you've got players like Yedlin is because I always find that we don't really man mark. We just kind of get back. And then when you've got players like Yedlin who have a lot of pace and are actively trying to get everywhere, when you're just trying to get back, he just drifts around and leaves that pocket of space, and that causes other players to come in and try and cover his back. And then when you've got other players who aren't used to being in that position, like Hayden was when he was for the second goal, then Hayden completely forgets that his man's there, and then bang, Arsenal get a goal. I don't know. For me, I wouldn't, but we don't have many other options at the moment because Kraft is just as useful.
Yeah.
We need another. If Manquillo's not back anytime soon, we should just ship Yedlin, and get another right back in.
I think Kraft, because he's been given his chances, but not many game times. It's you've got to play to improve, I suppose, if you look at it from a player's point of view. But he's not shown any attacking intent. He's not shown any defensive intent either. He's looked like a fish out of water.
Yeah, and I think especially with players like that, when you're being led by a manager who isn't really directing you in what to do, then you're going to struggle. Players like him and Alan Saint-Maximin, players that are potential have potential, but then can't can't do much with it unless they're told what to do. And some players are like that. Some players need to know. Some players need to just be given instructions, and they'll see those instructions and they'll play them perfectly. But if you don't give them instructions, then they don't have the intuition to be able to do it themselves. And Kraft's one of those.
And that was Rafa Benitez's big
Yeah,
what you call it, his thing, because he would out on the touchline, he would bark orders and give advice to every single player, even during the game. But you got Bruce, who stands on the line, just kind of plays with his tongue. I don't know what it is. He's always like that. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I think he likes the idea of trying to direct the football pitches if something's happening, but would be better off. Would be better off with a strong captain, someone that can do that. I don't know. I can't remember who was captain against Arsenal. I don't know if you know, but I can't. Top of my head, I'm not sure.
I think Lascelles started, because obviously he is captain.
So that'd be Lascelles.
Could it have been Dummett in the second half? Because I think he was one of the vice captains.
Maybe then. But Lascelles isn't bad for giving orders, but I'm just not a big Lascelles fan either, to be honest. Especially, I just think, I don't know, he went in for that challenge that got him yellow card straight away. And you could see he was just a little bit sloppy. And he's like that sometimes. He can be very rash and make tackles.
But he has been out for a while, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I think that's common of him. I think that is common that he does those kind of things.
Yeah. Just to come on to Dubravka coming back into the squad. There's been a big debate between Darlow and Dubravka. So, what would be your take on the keeper situation? I don't think. I mean, from my point of view, I don't think Darlow has done a lot wrong. But then, Dubravka's coming in, had a solid game, but did look a bit, like he has, lost out on game time.
Well, it's like you said with Lascelles. If he's missed out on game time, you have to kind of appreciate that the players are going to be a little bit rusty, and they need to get back into the swing of things. But I think I did another poll on this today, and most people said Darlow would stay in, and I'd have to agree. He's on the. If you think about last season in the Premier League, you've got what used to happen is Dubravka would be the number one goalkeeper, and every time there was a cup game, didn't matter how important it was, Darlow would get his chance. That's what happened last season. And then this season, as soon as Dubravka's been fit, Dubravka's got his chance. But I don't think it doesn't matter how good Darlow played, you wouldn't be knocked off. You wouldn't be able to knock really Dubravka off his post from one or two games. Darlow, as long as Darlow's consistent, he stays in goal for me. And I think I just think somebody made a point about Dubravka being better at distribution and getting the ball out once it's recovered, which I get. I do understand that, but I do think I do think that part of that is to do with the team. I think who you're going to distribute the ball to. You know what I mean? Like, if you've got a team that isn't finding space, which commonly Newcastle, the players do not find space, then how is it his fault if you can't distribute the ball properly? I tell you what I'm actually sick of, and I'm going to just go on a rant now because I've just thought of it when I'm looking at that, is how many times in the last 4 games have I seen us win a throw-in and no player be bothered when it's in their half as well, no player be bothered to find space. And the player's doing this, looking around, and he's shouting the Barton orders. There was one, Joe Linton was way too close. Another, was it yesterday? No, the game before. And you just think, like, you're in their half, you've got a chance, and nobody's bothering to move. Like, what is the point? Because, like I said before, when Newcastle play, they don't really play tactics. They play get forward. They put pressure on them, which sounds great. Oh, pressuring them so high up, that's great. Yeah, but we're doing nothing with it. We pressure them to the point where we're going to throw in, get the ball, and then the person's just like, what do I do? And you just think, what is the point? Steve Bruce should be picking that out. Thousands of Newcastle fans would have seen that. And Steve Bruce is closer to that pitch than thousands of football fans. So he's definitely seen that. He should be picking that up in training and saying, right, for 5 hours, we're going to train what you do when you win a throw-in. We're going to practice taking quick throw-ins, and we're going to move around, and we're going to make sure we're in space and how to attack from there.
Yeah. Question here from Jody Talk. It's nice. Well, it's nice that NUSA have a great goalkeeping department with Darren Dubravka or Dubrovnik, as according to Danny Murphy. Yes, I did pick up on that. I didn't pick up during the match, but I did hear about this Dubrovnik thing, you know. But then you look at people like Danny Murphy, who they're just there to earn a keep, you know. They just want to stay relevant because obviously they've got families to feed and whatever else. But then you do get annoyed with them as well.
It's a bit disrespectful, really. You wouldn't see him do that about a Man United player, would you?
No.
Or about a Liverpool player. Anyone like that, you wouldn't see that. He's done it on purpose, and the thing about Danny Murphy. This isn't the first time he's done little things like this with Newcastle United. It's not the first time, so I guarantee he's done that on purpose. People know who Dubravka is. His name's not that hard to pronounce. He knows it would have got a reaction, and I bet you that's why he said it 100%.
Yeah, of course. Do you think it's unfair that Darlow is never in the running for England?
I just think looking at the talent now, I don't think it's necessarily unfair because he's not been good enough. He hasn't been good enough for England until this season.
Yeah,
he hasn't been good enough. So if he's still good enough by the end of the season and he still doesn't get a call up, like if he continues his season the way he's going and he still doesn't get a call up, then yes. But at the moment, I don't think it would be fair to say.
Yeah, I do get that. Another one from Fan Feuds, especially with his performances, getting him in England Cup conversations as well. So he has been conversed about, and that's. I suppose it's a step in the right direction. Yeah, it is a step in the right, because you never see anyone from Newcastle team getting into England.
Well, everyone keeps hitting it. People used to hint at the Cells, people used to hint at Shelby, but it was never serious talk. Whereas now, with these performances, people are generally thinking, let's just keep it going. He needs to get. I think if he has a good season, I think there'll be enough talk that he will be considered, especially considering Pickford's form. Pope, who can't get in the Man United squad, and the others that are currently would be there, they're just not. They're not performing to that standard. There's
also Lingard who've been linked with as well in the January transfer window. I can't see that happening, to be honest with
you. It got linked. These players, Lingard, for example, Dele Alli, they're not going to come to Newcastle, regardless of what fans think of them, purely because they have a reputation, even if it's a bad one, like Lingard. I wouldn't have him anyway. Even if you wanted to, I wouldn't have him. But they've got a reputation. So does Newcastle United. And there's not a chance one of those players. That's why when Lallana went to Brighton, it was a fantastic move because he was a Premier League winner. He was a big name. He would have never came to Newcastle. Never, because Brighton showed him, said, look, this is what we want to achieve. This is how you're going to achieve it. This is what we want to do. He had plans for like they give him roles within training, working with the youth. And a long-term goal for what he could achieve at the club. Wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen at Newcastle. I wouldn't have Lingard. I would. And Dele Alli, he's late. The thing is with Dele Alli, he's not the right person. If you've watched the Spurs documentary, you'll see Mourinho calls Dele Alli out for being lazy in training and on the pitch, and I think it's true. And I think if you get a manager like, Steve Bruce, he'll allow it. Whereas Mourinho, absolute tactician, just cuts it out. Loads of people pip. At one point, Dele Alli was one of the biggest futures in football, and now because of Mourinho, it's nowhere near.
Yeah. Question here from Jordy Torg. Who do you think Newcastle should sign this month?
Do you have any? Have you got any ideas?
Well, I would say Jethro to bring him back. You know, he's not played much game time. He's only just come back from fitness or to getting fit again, but he's not played many games. But yeah, he'd be one to stick within the squad. We've also had Diego Costa linked as well, which I can't see happening. But oh well,
No, it's always
it's
always
always a
tough.
pipe dream. Yeah, Jet we'll get on to Jet Rope. You know, he was a
Yeah.
breath of fresh air on that left hand side, and he seemed to have an understanding with St Max as well.
Yeah, I did agree. They were both very attack-minded players. They both get forward. I'd have them back. It's definitely. We need a new right back. I think we need to get somebody in that is just as dangerous, pacey, and can attack on the right wing better than Yedlin. And I think we need a really creative centre midfielder.
Yeah. Any other players that stick to mind for you, or in the centre field? I mean, we've been linked with Dele Alli, but I can't see that one being a no go as well.
It's the thing
Just
is, although I know I don't really pay that. I read rumours of once a player's already been linked, but I don't know much about what players are out there that would be available, because that's a different game. Like you might say, "Oh, this player would be good. This player would be good." Doesn't make a difference because if they're not available or if the team's not going to get rid of them, then you're not going to. You're just not going to get them. So I just see who gets linked, and I would just pick from those really. But at the moment, I personally don't think we're going to sign anyone. I think we're going to see out this season. I think we'll look like we won't get relegated because of the form of the teams in the relegation zone and our form currently. I think we'll do enough to stay up. But I think it will be tight by the end of the season. I think it'll be tight, and I think that they will. I think we'll stay up, and I think I don't know. I've got a feeling there'll be significant. There'll either be none at all, or there's going to be significant takeover changes by the end of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can come on the takeover soon. What I want to say is just for my Here's NUSA Hotspot. They do pin badges and memorabilia for Newcastle United. So just to shout them out. And I've also got Boheed Bubble Hats, who do many bubble hats for other teams as well. Get your Newcastle one in quick because they are selling out. So thanks very much to them. Just to come on back onto your crew bank and the West End as well. Just talking about how it's brought the community together and how it has brought in players' influence as well with Isaac Hayden there delivering food as well. Just to give your thoughts on the whole thing, and also with your the competition as well.
Yeah. So thanks. Well, yeah. So I want to say thank you first to the people that donated last time. For those that are watching, because we raised last time there was no prizes, and it was just basically you say that you're in, and if you're in, you donate £1 for every goal that Liverpool score or £5 for every goal that Newcastle score. So the people that were in, it could have been like a £5 to £10 donation pot, really max. I would have said, and probably less, but it was 0-0. Couldn't believe it. It was 0-0. Couldn't believe it. But luckily, the people of Twitter came out and they all chipped in, and we managed to raise £360, which is absolutely unbelievable for it being a 0-0 and not expecting it. It was just before New Year's. It's at the time of year where they really need help. There's a lot of vulnerable people that are struggling to pay bills, especially due to COVID-19, and £5 fills a carrier bag of food, and we raised 360. So we raised 72 carrier bags worth of food. It's believed that with a carrier bag worth of food, it can stretch a small family for a week. which is just shocking, really, because I know for a fact I spend a lot more than that a week on food. And I think if family can make it last that, they're probably not having big meals anyway. But that's how much in need they are. So we managed that. Now, I wanted to do something bigger and better and really kick it up a notch. So I decided to do a raffle, and I contacted hundreds of companies, and I mean hundreds. I've just spent time. I went through Etsy shops, I went through Google, and I was just searching Newcastle United accessories. I've gone on Twitter, and I've secured some unbelievable prizes. When I announce them all, which is going to be by the end of next week, the prizes total around £400. Okay, so there's £400 of the prizes to give away. The way it's going to work is there's going to be, for each prize, so you can see some of the prizes behind me. So there is a retro Napoli shirt. There is a, which way do I go? There's a retro Aston Villa top. A retro FA Cup final, Wembley 1982. And yeah, I'm not a Villa fan, to be fair. But these are for sale in JD Sports in the 35 quid, and a company donated that. So the company, what I want to say thank you to, and honestly, anyone watching, take the time just to look on the website, drive some audience to the website and just help them out. Reptro Shirts, REPTRO shirts.com. Okay, Reptro Shirts.
Just put me a link in the comments later on, and
I will. Give that... like anyone watching, please go in the comments and click and have a look, because the guy's name is Lee. It's called Lee, and he was absolutely. I rang him and he was like, "Yeah, you know, this is a great cause. I really want to help you out. I've got a few things here." He's donated this one, so the winner might want to burn it. The winner might want to burn it.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll tell you what, right? I'll give you £30 if you burn it in a bin.
If I burn it in a bin, and I'll film it, and I'll put it online. Right, I'll do that. Deal straight to the food bank. Yeah. In a Scotland one. So these are just 4 prizes that I've already announced. If you haven't already seen, I had 2 prizes. One was from 2 posters from Man of the Match Football. So they're on Twitter, which I'll also link in the comments. It's MOTM_football. And they do like posters and other things which are football related. They kindly donated 2 of these A4 size print. One with Shearer and one with like the entertainers in the lineup of the entertainers team. Now, if you haven't already seen, that was just going to be the prize. But I tweeted Alan Shearer asking if you'd take the time out to sign them. And he inboxed me and said, "Yeah, I'm going to sign them." So I've posted them to his house. Obviously, he was in London yesterday, but he's already messaged me and said as soon as he gets back, he'll get them signed and he'll get them posted straight back off. So there was one, but there was the second poster that Man of the Match Football donated very kindly. I've snuck it in the envelope, and I left Alan a little note just saying. I left Alan a little note saying, "Will you sign the other one for me?" And I'm sure he will, because he's going to pull them out anyway. You can't see it. 1 second. (1982).
Oh,
I know a final memory.
That one.
What was that?
I know a friend that might be interested in it. Oh, well, there we go.
40 quid. I might, you know what it is? I was thinking, because some of these prizes, the thing is, they're all on the raffle and people have already bought. So far, I want to say a massive thank you, because we're on track to be, we haven't released the full prize list yet. These shirts and the posters accumulate to about 150 quid. There's still 250 quid worth of prizes to be announced. So if you want to risk it, you can buy some raffle tickets to try and get it. Okay.
Awesome.
Right.
Well, what also is what a great thing you're doing for the food bank, and I do applaud you, mate.
Thank you. I want to say one, but just quickly, sorry, before I do, there's one more person. So I had another prize confirmed today, and it was by Fan Feuds. So they've just been on the show and commented, and I think I don't know if they'll comment again, but Fan Feuds, get them on Twitter. They're really, really sound. Basically, what they're doing at the moment to drive people to their page is there they are. They are they are doing a competition at the moment where they're getting a FIFA Ultimate Team, like an icons card. So I don't know if you saw Steven in UFC, he got one with his face on. It said how good he was at attacking, defending, and you get one of those personalized. They've said they're going to donate a personalized fan feuds icon card to one of the raffle ticket winners. So I want to say a massive thank you to Fan Feuds. If you're on Twitter, Newcastle, you're watching, help this page out because they've been kind enough to donate that. So going on their page, click and follow, and interacting with them, that'll go a long way for them. And they've just done this, like, they didn't say that, but they said they would help out, and I just think that's mint. And I think you can't. I think anyone that's going to do something like that needs
drop. Sorry, mate. Just drop. I will drop Fan Feuds link in the comments later on. So if you want to get on that, it would be a big help to the NUFC community.
And if you need tickets, if you need tickets, go on James and Extra on Twitter. Give me a direct message. We'll sort you out some tickets, and you can get a chance to win some money. And 100% of proceeds go to the West End Food Bank in Newcastle.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Love it. Just to come back to this fella here, Callum Wilson.
Yes.
Where would Newcastle be without Callum Wilson at the minute? Because he has been just a revelation in the team. You look at Callum Wilson, 20 million, and you look at Joe Linton, this guy here, just to bring him up as well. There's 20 million between them, and you wouldn't think it, would you?
It was a great bit of business getting him in. It's probably the best thing Steve Bruce has done. Best thing Steve Bruce has done while he's been at Newcastle United is getting Callum Wilson. How he managed to sign a 28-year-old. I think it was 28, isn't he? And he signed him on a 3, 4, 5-year contract, which is basically going to see, if he stays at Newcastle, it'll see out his career, pretty much, his professional, like, Premier League career, which I think he probably will. Like, even if he continues to have a good season, I think he'll probably still stay at Newcastle. And I just think what's happened with Joe, if you look at Joe Linton's figures when he was at Hoffenheim, they weren't great. So I think I don't know why he was valued at 40 million. Part of me thinks it was a bit of so basically Rafa left. People were fuming that Rafa left and he was allowed to leave. He wasn't treated very well. And then they've signed a 40 million player to make it look like, look, but we're going to try. But basically what they've said is they've taken a risk on 40 million thinking, well, we might get our money back. And but what it will do is calm the fans down from letting Rafa leave. And within a half, I would much rather keep Rafa, giving him that 40 million to spend on 3 players. And you know for a fact that one of those players would have been a gem. Even if the other 2 weren't, one of them would have been.
Yeah.
So I think, but in terms of Callum Wilson, I think it's funny because the last game he played, he didn't look quite on it. He was out of sync with Almiron and he couldn't quite get his runs right. But I think you have to take out the fact that he's scored 5 penalties. It's great that he's scored them, and for a while, it's been a while since we've had a penalty taker where you're confident that he's going to score it. I don't know if you agree, but every time we get penalties in the past, you think, oh, we're going to miss this or it's going to get fluffed, and then lo and behold, the miss. But with Callum Wilson, like, it's a goal. It's a goal.
I mean, like I've just said that he has been a revelation in the team. We're grateful for him. I mean, you talk about St. Max as well. He's been missing for the last few games. People were saying, he's off. He's signed a 6-year contract because of value, and but he had, a lot of people said he's got COVID and he's suffering with the effects. But then he was over in France, and he I think it was Instagram. I think it was on, or Snapchat or something like that. It says, I'm fine, I'm fit, I'm raring to go. But if that was the case, why are you in France?
True. I don't know. I think there was something not quite right, and it hasn't been fully announced. If he was feeling the long-term effects of COVID, which are a real thing, that's fine. But to say to go on and then say to people that he's fine and he's feeling fine, and to Steve Bruce, I think there's something else there. I think, and then when he was due to come back, or when he was closer to coming back, there was news stories going out saying that something else has happened, that he's picked up something which has extended how long he's going to be off, and it just something doesn't seem right. Either there could be two ways you could look at it. You could say either he's, because I heard some people saying he doesn't want to get injured and he's looking to go to another club. Could you say the club are holding him back to stop other clubs from maybe being interested? I don't know. There's so many different outcomes. I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? I think he's good, and I think he doesn't deserve to be at Newcastle, to be perfectly honest. I think he needs to go to a manager that'll direct him properly. And I think when we're ready for players like that, we should get them. But at the moment, we're not ready for them with a manager like Bruce.
Yeah. It's disgusting, really. I mean, you look at some of the players we do have. Really, they should be doing much better than what they are. I mean, we've only got this guy to thank for it all. You know, Mr. Ashley.
Yeah.
You know, he's not exactly been the caring owner he should be, but you know, we could have been. I mean, a lot of people have said we could have been Sunderland. You know, it's that slippery slope. You know, we went down. You know, we could have ended up being in League One or League Two. You know, when we slipped down. But you know, he's said, you know, we'll put money in to get back up again. But then he's not followed it on with moving on. You know, moving up the table to make sure his club stays in that table. You know.
Well, he's trying to do. He's just doing like a Sunderland almost. He's trying to just balance it, so we do enough to survive and spend as little as possible. And it cost them because they ended up spending big money on players that then had to get sacked off, or were paying big wages when they dropped back down to the Championship. And not when they dropped down to the Championship, sorry, when they were basically sacking managers, paying them out, getting new players in, paying big contracts, couldn't get rid of old players, and that's what cost them at one point. And I think Mike Ashley, that's the only thing about Mike Ashley is, you know, if we get relegated, we probably won't stay down there because he will spend the money to get back up. That's the only time he will, because that's the money's in the Premier League. Whereas the only saving grace at the moment is, what's the money like now? Is this why he's wanting to sell? Is this why he's, you know, if COVID hadn't happened and the takeover got denied by the Premier League, would he still be taking the Premier League to court to try and push it through? I don't think so. He'd probably think, well, it's not the end of the world. I've still got my cash cow. You know what I
mean? Yeah. That's very right. We've had so many penalties. I mean, yeah, we come to Geordie Talks. There we go. We've never had so many penalties this season. You know, looking back over the past. Even the past 14 years, we've hardly ever had a penalty. And now we've, what was it, 8, I think, or 6? 6 or 8?
Yeah, and if how many did we have last season? I think it was I think because there was a shocking statistic which was like we had 1 penalty and Man United had like 23.
Yeah.
I understand that teams get in the box more and are more likely to win penalties, and we're not a team that often would win penalties. But now we've got players like Callum Wilson and others that are getting into these dangerous areas. They're all coming about more often, but I don't know. There's been a bit of grace, and sometimes not. That Andy Carroll one where he jumps up, and it was the arm that was a little bit of grace on our behalf, but. If you think about it, I can't quite recall, without those penalties, how many points would we have dropped? You know, I can't quite recall. I'd have to work it out. But I can imagine it might be a few.
Wasn't it? Wasn't that a penalty?
Which one?
The Callum Wilson versus Spurs.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There's a point. There's one straight away.
Yeah, and
if you take these out of the equation,
yeah, we would have had less points.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think then if you look at it, you think, oh, actually, really, without those penalty points, which when you win a penalty, that's not tactics. Getting into the box to get a goal scoring opportunity and them tackling you, they're not tactics on our end. Yes, in bigger clubs, they play tactics like that. Their aim is to get in the box and win a penalty. We don't really do that. We just try and get forward. And then what happens is most of our strikers, like Joe Linton, don't feel confident enough to take a shot that if they get the chance to fall down, they'll fall down. Look at that one against, was it West Brom, where Wilson gets an arm tug outside the box, falls down inside the box. He probably had a chance to. I think the ball was still in front of him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he could have hit it, but he just went for the penalty. In the past, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Right, just to wrap things up, mate. Thanks for coming on. But just to talk about the last thing on the takeover. It's been a roller coaster ride for a year now. If you keep up with it. What would be your percentage? I mean, Nick DeMarco was at the game yesterday. So, what was all that about?
It's a funny one, isn't it? I think, really, I don't know why Nick DeMarco is there. I think he's obviously still got some kind of... He's still playing a role within Newcastle United and within this case. Is he a Newcastle fan? Is he an Arsenal fan? Is he just there because he's been offered tickets? It's strange that he would feel... He knows... Maybe he's just doing what everyone else is doing and milking the situation, because he knows if he posts pictures like that, he's going to get follows. Yeah, he's going to get people following him. And
he had a meeting with the Newcastle hierarchy in the Emirates before the game. So, it's are we joining dots here, or are we just thinking it's just a gesture thing?
Did you watch the Three Amigos with Keith from NCSL?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I thought that was a bit of the fact that Keith was very adamant about his source. He was really honest. You could see just by listening to him that he's got no reason to lie. He's just a Newcastle fan, like everyone else. He just wants the best for the club, and he knows he's in a situation where he's like David versus Goliath, but in his mind he just thinks, I'm going to just try. And I don't think you can blame anyone for wanting to do that. I think, it is, if anyone had the capability of doing it, I bet half of these Newcastle fans, if they were loaded millionaires, there'd be someone else willing to do that, put their own money in to try and put an impact in on the Premier League. And I think he spoke well, and I believed him. And I didn't see the full show because 2 hours is a long show, but I saw bits. I was going in and out of it, and I saw probably maybe 40 minutes of it. It just looked like he's confident. He doesn't want to give away his source, but he's confident that something will come from it, or there'll be some sort of resolution and final answer. And I think there was people hinting at March being a deadline, and I've got a feeling, based on what I've read, based on watching interactions between people that are involved in the takeover deal, that by next season, if it's not done by the start of next season, then I think we can probably write it off. I don't think it should. I think that's more than enough time for these court proceedings and stuff, especially with the big leaps that have just happened with Qatar and Saudi Arabia. I just don't think that it needs any longer. And if it's not done by then I think it probably isn't. But that being said, I think as a Newcastle fan, we just need to think Mike Ashley's made his intent now. He's shown that he wants to get rid of the club. So it's going to happen. I don't think he'll still... It's going to be... If this doesn't go through, like, say another 5 years tops, that he'd be at the club. I can't see him being like 10 years down the line, Mike Ashley's still the owner. It's not going to happen.
Well, as far as I know, what I've been told by certain people, he wants rid of it this season. He wants one.
I'm not surprised with what's going on. Like, if for him, he wants that money. He wants to buy, I don't know, he wants to buy Foot Locker or something, or put more money in dividends. That's his interest.
He's taking enough money out of the club, and that's what we can agree on. He's taken more than enough money. I mean, he's a businessman. He's put money in. He's taken money out. We can't say that, but he's taken more money out than really he was entitled to, I suppose. Just to say, just a shout, new background. I hope you like it.
No, it looks good. It looks good. I was going to say before, yeah, it's good. I like it.
Brilliant.
It's like I'm there now. It's like I'm in the stadium with you.
It's through my wall if you want to jump through. Well, thanks for coming on, mate. If you want to give that comment in the comment section, just for the shirts and the company you got them from.
Should I do it now while we're on the live stream and put it on the in the comments?
Yeah. But thanks for coming on anyway, and I hope you have or had a nice Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, you too. You too. Thanks for having me, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yep, and I'll have to get you on again because you've been brilliant.
No, yeah, I'll definitely be on.
Thank you very much, mate.
Bye.
See you later. Ciao. Hello, thanks for tuning in. I'm just going to bring up the very last video from Steve Wraith for the Think Before You Tweet. It's been a blast over the time I've been doing these shows. Thanks for watching, and but to come on to Think Before You Tweet, please do, because you don't know who's behind the screen, and you don't know what they're going through as well. So thanks very much. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Think before you tweet.
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 Please just think before you tweet.
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 Think before you tweet.